So, man, this is a topic that we've been meaning to talk about for a long time, cancel culture. You know what I mean? And it's funny because growing up, obviously we didn't have social media. Nowadays we do, and tremendous amount of influence. But somebody does one thing wrong, and obviously talking about celebrities, famous people. But I also want to bring it back to us canceling people in our personal lives. But just for the sake of this topic, let's talk about celebrities. Cancel culture is basically built a culture saying if you do one thing wrong that I don't like or that we don't like, we can cancel you, which means basically we're no longer your fans, we're pulling our support, and we're going to post it, make it public so that other people can look at what you did wrong too, and they can cancel you as well, right? And it's happened to a lot of celebrities, athletes, entertainers, musicians, actors, politicians, you know, and to me, the message is basically saying, in a sense, that you can't even be human anymore. Because what human being doesn't make mistakes? What human being, and could you imagine if we had social media in the 90s, bro? The 80s, the stuff that they were doing back then compared to what people are doing now, because the camera is always on them, people always filming you, somebody's always tweeting about every little thing that you do. If we had that back then, can you imagine the amount of people that would have been canceled? Like it's really interesting. And the most interesting part is cancel culture. When somebody wants to cancel you, it's usually coming from somebody who's never walked in your shoes, never walked a day in your shoes. So they don't know what it's like to be you. Talk about celebrities, the majority of people that's talking about canceling you are not famous people. They're not celebrity. They may be internet famous, but for the most part, they didn't put the same type of work in to be able to get to where you're at. And I think it's just really an unfortunate type of thing that we've adopted this culture where we feel like we can cancel people based on some aspect of their life that we don't like. It's like playing God in a sense. Because could you imagine if God treated us like that? And even bringing it home to their personal lives, we do that with people who are in our own lives. Somebody, you have a bad argument with somebody. I don't want to talk to you no more ever again. Somebody make one mistake. Maybe somebody at your job. Maybe it's a relative. Maybe it's a friend that you don't talk to anymore. Back in the day, we needed each other. So yeah, we could get in an argument or something happen, but at some point, we got to figure out a way to work this thing out. And the sad part about it is that cancel culture is treating people the exact opposite of how we want people to treat us, right? So could you imagine if that was me or you and somebody said, I'm gonna cancel this person? Like I guarantee you those people who are talking about canceling somebody don't want somebody to ever cancel them. And that person knows that they're not perfect, right? So I don't know, man. I just want to know your thoughts because you're one, you follow sports a lot, you follow, you're on Twitter, you're on TikTok and whatnot, and you kind of see how this culture has developed. What is your thoughts on that? And is it something that we should change, which I think it is, and if so, how do we change it?
So I feel like, first off, cancel culture now has really just, if you think about it, things that are off limits, that's really where the cancel culture come in effect. You LGBTQ community is off limits. Women, that conversation has become off limits too. So if you say anything to offend that culture, defend that community, you're automatically, you're done. It's gonna be hard to come back for that. And I think
it's funny? I'm sorry, you just made a great point. I wanted to talk about because we are the Black Culture Podcast. I notice people don't get canceled for their offensive remarks about Black culture. But anyway, Keep going.
Well, I was gonna get to that because I was gonna say I remember Roseanne came out and said something, and her show had just got back on TV, and they took her. I think they killed her off the show. They fired her, and I think she died or something, whatever on the show. So it's not as you sometimes can get away with it. It depends on the platform because Roseanne was coming on a big network, so it was kind of like they didn't have a choice but to do it because the outrage from our community was like, yo, y'all gonna let her. So you can, I still feel what you're saying. Like, depending on what platform you offend us on or you say that, you may be able to get away with it. But she said it on one of the biggest networks. I think it might have been ABC. I think I may be wrong, but I know it was like a big network. She said it on to where it's like they really didn't have a choice. But it's still not as big as if you say something about LGBTQ or women, the Me Too movement, stuff like that. So think about
or Juice, because Nick Cannon got canceled. Remember that?
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, when do people become perfect, right? We all make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So you're basically telling us you can't, you don't even have you got one time to mess up and that's it. Like, you muted.
Sorry about that. What's crazy about that is the fact that you don't get a chance to apologize, right? And even if you do, you're still canceled.
And they critiquing your apology. He didn't mean it. He could have said this. He could have said that. Like, yo, like, and so what you're doing is like, yo, if you want people to be perfect, you're basically telling people, I don't know, man. I think trying to tell somebody not to make mistakes, what are you learning if you don't make a mistake? Like, it's gonna happen. It's impossible. Listen, it's impossible for us not to make mistakes. I'm sure Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey, Leonardo DiCaprio. Everybody has made mistakes, yo. Everybody has said something. You said, but like, I probably shouldn't have said that. But immediately you said it, I think automatically, depending on what you say, you know you're gonna get canceled. You know, like, that's the end of the road for me, which is sad because you telling people you have no room for mistakes. Is this the type of world we're creating?
Yeah, and the people who are doing the canceling are not perfect either. And so, you know, there's a verse in the Bible.
Who's doing the counseling? The counselor. Who's doing that?
People on social media, right? And when I
so we let fans dictate. All right, go ahead.
Right? Yeah. No, but for real, that's really it. Now, when you talk about institutional canceling, somebody getting fired and all of that, then yeah, that's obviously more of the executive level. But I think even back, this was even before social, Mike Vick got canceled. And nobody talks about that, right? Mike Vick, not only did he get canceled, he went to prison. Now think about that.
Never mind. Let me not even get into that.
Yeah, bro. But that's an example of picking and choosing. Because I guarantee you, if Mike Vick wasn't black, I'm not gonna say I guarantee, but we've seen black athletes get harsher punishments than athletes who are not black, who don't have his skin color. Mm-hmm. And Mike Vick, when I say they canceled him, not only did he get basically expelled from the league, he had to pay a fine back. He had to pay his bonus money back to the league. He went to prison, and you know, he went to prison during his prime years. So he was never able to become that elite athlete. Well, I ain't gonna say that. He was already elite, but he was never able to be able to compete at the level for the amount of time that he should have been able to, just because he did one thing wrong. And I've seen people get less punishment for killing humans, let alone fighting dogs, right? So that's just another example of canceling. And then you had, I don't remember the name of the organization, but it's some animal organization. They came out and they canceled them. And then you had all these people against them. And it's just like, okay, he made a mistake. That's something he should not have done. At the end of the day, because we do live in a very punitive society, at the end of the day, what can we help do to correct this? Now, I mean, I've always said, especially in that case, they wanted to make an example out of him. And in a lot of these cancel cases, if that's what you want to call it, they're looking to make an example out of people. Like, for example, look at what they just did to the baby. They made an example out of him. Not only did they blast him in the media, they canceled him from every festival he was supposed to perform in this year, which is canceling his money, right? Because we know you're a Black entertainer, Black athlete. When they cancel you, they're going to lay it on thick, right? So, and I'm not saying what these people have done are right, but here's the question. When do you get a chance for redemption? First of all, when do you forgive someone? Because you're showing that you're basically not going to let go of what they did, and you're always going to hang it over their head. It's just like having a prison record and not getting hired. Like, I didn't already did my time. You're going to keep hanging this over my head? I've served my time. I've been punished. You're going to keep punishing me. So my thing is, what is an alternative to canceling somebody, man? Because does it just make you feel good to do that? How does it actually help that person to become a better person?
They basically forcing you, in order for you to come back, you're going to have to rechange your whole image. You have to recreate your whole image. Everything that got you there, you're going to have to cater to the people you offended. So the rest of your life, you're going to have to be trying to prove to them. Like, look at Mike Vick. When Mike Vick went in, he was Mike Vick, cornrows. He was rough looking. He was himself. He was Mike Vick. He was himself. Like, he didn't care what nobody thought about him. And that's one thing they didn't like either. You know what they looked at him as? A thug. So literally they're waiting for you to make a mistake.
Yep.
They're waiting for you to make a mistake. So he made a mistake and it forced him to come out. He no longer had the cornrows. He constantly had to
watch what he said,
apologize, and everything. Like, even now to this day, people still say he didn't mean it. He doesn't feel sorry. He just, but yet we get, we got quarterbacks in the league
not allow him.
We have quarterbacks in the leagues that has rape cases.
Exactly.
This man still playing in the league right now that had a rape case that no one talks about.
$20 million a year.
He plays in the AFC North. And I'm gonna leave that one right there.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Here's what's so funny about that case. That was the same year LeBron left Cleveland. Which story was bigger?
Well, LeBron.
That was the same year LeBron left Cleveland, and they wanted to cancel him. That they burned his jersey. I didn't see nobody burning Ben's jersey. I'm gonna just go ahead and say his name, right? I didn't see nobody burning his jersey. Did he get?
Ain't it funny how they don't even talk about that no more? But Mike Vick dog incident still gets talked about. They bring that up every chance they get. This man had a rape case, and they don't bring it up.
He was accused of raping 3 women.
Come on, man.
3. Right?
We ain't forget about them files.
Nope. And so, and even with all the good that LeBron does, that is publicized, people still trashing his name. It's like, man, you still gonna cancel him? So I guess that means that you're perfect.
Or rape is not important, as important as in other things. Is that what we're saying? If that's what we're saying, just come out and say it.
Bro, that Kobe Bryant rape case was bigger than that one. And there was just one female involved. But here's the point of this whole thing. What's an alternative to cancel culture? Because I'm not about continuously punishing somebody for doing something once, right? You did something. You made a mistake. When do we, 1, forgive you? And 2, when are you allowed for redemption? Because at the end of the day, the person who's throwing that stone is not without sin themselves. What if every time, and I often think about this, especially in our society, you got judges who are imperfect people issuing sentences to people who made a mistake. Like, you literally get to decide this man or woman's fate by a bang of your gavel, or if it's a jury trial. You literally get to decide someone's fate. And those jurors are imperfect people, right? So what if we applied that same judgment to your life? Because a lot of people love to judge other people, but they hate it when somebody judges them, right? So what is the alternative, man? Because one is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. If you made a mistake, you made a mistake, and you should have the appropriate sentence into that. But once that's done, we shouldn't still be hanging that over your head. You paid your fine, you did your time, whatever the case is, and you need to be allowed to come back.
Sad to say, but I had to keep it real with you in my opinion. I don't think there is an alternative, simply because we live in a reaction-based world. Decisions are made based off of the reaction of people. And that's just, to me, that's just how it is. Like, if a certain community, a certain culture is outraged about something, the law, the media, the big people, the big ups as we call them, they're going to react not for what's right and what's fair. Yeah, they're not going to react to or do what's fair. They're going to react to how other people act, how the media, how the people, how the Twitter, whatever, how they're
right.
Yeah, they're going to react how they react. So, and like I said, we live in we're in a world where everything is based off of reaction, influenced by something. So I don't see an alternative. You just, like, we're in a world where you just really have to watch what you say. Which is crazy. You can't no longer, I mean, unless you're gonna hear, we're gonna say what we want to say. Of course, we're not gonna be out here trying to just offend anybody. Like, we're never gonna do that. But I mean, just our platform. For the most part, we're gonna say what we want to say. But you can't do that in certain, you can't do that in certain areas. You can't do that in certain companies. Right. You can't do that when you're assigned to certain people. So it's like, I don't see one. Because a judge, put it like this, a judge can feel one way, but based on the reaction of the jury or the reaction of how they feel the country or whatever going to react to, depending on who it is, the race or whatever, they can react to that instead of what they've been taught, instead of what the book says go, instead of what's right is right. They're going to go based off of people complaining. That's really what it is. So me personally, I don't see one, because I don't see that changing anytime soon. I just see the reactions and people. We live in a world. There's a new social media that comes out every freaking year or something. So I don't think there's an alternative, man.
Here's my take, and we can wrap up. Cancel culture needs to be canceled. Cancel culture needs to be canceled, because what it's doing, it's basically condemning someone for doing something that they should be allowed to come back from. Now, I'm not talking about murder, rape, arson. I'm not talking about heinous crimes. I'm talking about you said something that was unpopular and you offended someone. Do you know how many freaking people have said things and offended people? And not saying that you should just go ahead and get over it. But look, if I say something, like, for example, if you said something that offended me, first of all, you and I are brothers. So I'm going to tell you, number one, and I think we can clear it up pretty quickly. But should I cancel you? Should I never speak to you again? Should I swear you off? Should I trash you? Absolutely not. And, the last point I wanted to get to is that cancel culture has spilled over into personal lives. You see people doing that to other people that they know online, on Facebook, on Instagram, trashing people, posting pictures of their Twitter account and just doing all kind of crazy stuff, when that stuff really should be kept between you and that person. If you want to DM that person, cool. You probably should call that person and sit down with them and get that cleared up. But you using social media as a mediator, I guess. I don't know why you use
I
it,
hate
but
that.
you're bringing all your following, all the people that like your photos and videos into that, just so they can trash that person too. Now, how would you feel if somebody did that to you?
Bro, I hate that. Like, oh man, I was reading a post earlier about somebody that made a life-changing decision, and it was like, well, I'm giving up such and such. I thought it was my passion, but it's not. So I'm no longer doing this, that, and the third. And I'm reading this like, yo, why do you feel the need? You need to come on here and tell everybody. Just do it. Like just do it. Like, why do you need to tell everybody? Like, yo, you just basically told the world your next move. Like, why? Just do it.
Bro,
But I looked in the
it's
comments and it
crazy.
was, don't do it, don't stop. No,
Yeah,
no. I'm like, that's why you did it right there.
yeah, oh, exactly. People need attention and validation, and it's crazy that we turn to platforms. I like when Drake said, I only tell the people. No, he said I only tell the ones that I can call. Right? Half of them people that's commenting, probably not even half. 90% of the people that's liking your photos and doing whatever, you don't even talk to. Y'all don't hang out. You don't none of that. The only way you're connected to them is through social media, and it's sad that people need that attention and validation from virtual reality versus within their own lives. But the really sad part is you're using it to cancel people. And that's why I say cancel culture needs to be canceled. Because if we're really a society that wants to become better, if we're really in a country that wants to become better, why are you choosing to alienate people for doing things that just because it wasn't online, you've probably done the same thing. If somebody ever recorded your conversations, right? If somebody ever heard the things that you say, the comments you make about other people and about whatever you don't like, you would get canceled. So, I think cancel culture should be canceled. We need to find other ways to be able to deal with issues that we have with people and not trash them and humiliate them. And my biggest thing is, yeah, I can criticize you all day long, but that's a choice to do that. Why not choose to help you grow? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the truth about yourself. Yo, that was wrong. You shouldn't have did that. You're gonna have to own it. And you probably want to make sure you never do that again. But I'm not gonna cancel you. I'm not gonna do that.
I got nothing, man. Go ahead. Take us out.
Yeah, bro. So, want to know what y'all think, audience.
Please let us know.
Comment, tell me what y'all think. Should cancel culture be canceled? Should we find alternative ways to deal with the issues and the offenses that we have with our brothers and sisters? Or should we trash them, humiliate them, alienate them, and cancel them so that they can never bounce back, which is what I hate. As a society, we got to do better. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're also, obviously, if you're watching this, YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, and we also have exclusive content on Patreon. Willie, anything, bro?
No, again, of course, thank you guys for the views. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Share the video. Tell a friend about the Black Culture Podcast. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. And we just thank you guys. Check out our new videos that we've been putting out. I'm trying to put out a video every day now. From here on out, we're trying to make sure we put out a video, whether it's a short, whether it's a full podcast, but every day we're trying to hit y'all with some new content. So turn your notification on too. So when they do come out, you'll make sure you'll be notified. You can get that.
All right, y'all. And until next time, peace.
Peace.